Just last week, I made a video where I said that this is the year that we'll see SteamOS on other hardware. Well, it did not take long for that to come true because just today, my friend Rich sent me this link, which is the page for the Neo Next Lite, one of, I'm sure, dozens of handhelds that they will launch later on this year.
Just kidding, everybody.
Am I joking? Okay, let's take a look at the announcement first, and I'll tell you why I'm skeptical whether or not this thing is real later. Neo is calling this their budget-friendly option. Now, they've not actually told us a price at all. I'm sure that we'll find out more on that information later, but the price of the Neo Next, which is the hardware that this is based on, is $1,300. So their definition of budget-friendly and our definition of budget-friendly might be wildly different. They have a bunch of marketing speak about the comfort and texture of this thing, and they've previously launched Windows devices, but then they say this. Now, this forward-looking flagship handheld, Neo Next, returns in full force with the rejuvenated Neo Next Lite. Building upon the foundation of top-tier flagship design and texture, Neo Next Lite comes pre-installed with the SteamOS gaming system for the first time. Neo Next Lite integrates outstanding cost-effectiveness, lowering the entry barrier while further popularizing numerous flagship features, offering an upgraded experience to more players and allowing them to enjoy the endless fun and convenience of gaming handhelds. Now, their site says that the subscriptions are open tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't really know what they mean by subscriptions. I'm sure that we'll find out more information then. But currently, the site is pretty light on details. They do say that this has a 7-inch 800p screen, meaning that it's the same aspect ratio as the Steam Deck. The battery is a 47 watt-hour battery, which is more than the LCD Deck and the ROG Ally, but less than the OLED Deck and the Legion Go. For context, the Legion Go has a 49.5 watt-hour battery and the OLED Deck has a 50 watt-hour battery. As far as the specs go, that's all the information that they've given us. But looking at the images on the site, we can pick out a few details. This essentially looks like a Steam Deck without the trackpads, which will make some people happy. It's not something I'm super interested in, but that means it should have a smaller footprint than the Steam Deck. Whether or not this means it's more portable remains to be seen. I still think that while the Ally is a good deal smaller than the Steam Deck, they both really need to be protected with a case, and that means that they're still backpack devices, which makes them equally portable in my opinion. However, with a smaller footprint, it might come in at a lighter weight, though if you look at the weight of the recently announced MSI Claw, that's actually smaller than the Deck and weighs more than the OLED Deck, and I think even more than the LCD Deck. So there's a toss-up there. Hey everybody, I'm jumping in the middle of this video because I totally forgot to tell you that I have a new channel all about content creation and how I make these videos. So if you are interested in checking that out, do me a favor and check out the link in the description down below that like button. The channel's called Bill Fairchild, and I hope to see you over there if that kind of thing is something that you're interested in. All right, back to the video. Based on the pictures on their site, it essentially looks like a Nintendo Switch with a little bit more beef in the handles, which is a really good thing because my biggest gripe with the Switch isn't its power, it's the comfort. Now, the grips don't look as substantial as they do on the Steam Deck or even the MSI Claw, but they do look like they might be a little bit thicker than the ROG Ally. But at the end of the day, we're looking at a picture on a website without any dimensions, so we're just guessing here. And we're gonna have to wait until we actually get hands-on to actually see what's up with these things. What we can tell from the pictures is that there are no back buttons, which is a bit of a disappointment. But I think that there's a large segment of the gaming population that just never uses back buttons anyway. Some people might look at the lack of input options and say that this thing is dead on arrival, but I think most people use controllers without back paddles anyway, and most people don't really use the trackpads on the deck, even though they should, because they're awesome. And if you want to know why I think they're awesome, stick around and I'll tell you at the end. We can also see from the images on the site that it has 2 USB-C ports on the top. Now, we don't know if either of these are capable of eGPU support, but I really hope that they are. In fact, I think that's, at this point, it's my only gripe with the Steam Deck, now that we have the OLED version, is that there's no eGPU support. eGPU support would totally change the game for that device. And we've been seeing it in more and more handhelds with support for those, so fingers crossed. I will say that I love that it has 2 ports on the top, meaning if I want to charge it and hook it up to a TV or a monitor at the same time, I won't have to have any dongles to do so. Though, if you are looking for ways to hook up your single-ported handhelds to a TV or a screen or a monitor, and you need a dongle to do so, I've got some links in the description down below. That like button. One thing from the images that isn't clear is the power button. Kind of looks like a fingerprint reader to me. I will say that my experience with Windows Hello on my ROG Ally has been kind of worthless. It only works once in a while, and that just slows everything down. The reader on my Mac is flawless, but this is not running Mac OS, it's not running Windows, it's running SteamOS, and this would be the only one with that type of functionality, which would be very interesting. It comes in multiple colors. There's a white and orange one and a black and gray one. As a content creator that tries to take pictures of these handhelds for my YouTube thumbnails, I'll probably end up going with black and gray, as the white ROG Ally is very frustrating to take pictures of. That being said, I love how the white and orange look, though I would really like to see a black and red version myself. I don't have any hands-on time with the Aya Neo Next, but I did talk to my buddy Russ about it, and he described it as feeling chunky. But since this is the light version, hopefully it's a little bit less chunky. But that isn't the big question. Here's the big question. Is it really SteamOS, or is it Holo ISO or Chimera? First, let's take a look at this screenshot. When you're running Steam Big Picture mode and you're using an Xbox controller, the icon on the bottom left is the Xbox logo. That's what you see here. But on SteamOS, when you're running it on a deck, you see Steam down there. Now, I can understand not having Steam there since it's not a deck, but why have the Xbox logo unless the hardware is just pretending to be an Xbox controller? I personally haven't used something running Holo ISO, but I did check a video from ETA Prime where he installed Holo ISO onto a laptop, and sure enough, the Xbox logo is on the bottom left. If this is indeed running SteamOS, I'd have expected Pierre-Luc Raffaï or somebody from Valve to post something around the same time that Aya Neo did. Another question that I'm wondering about is, if it's Holo ISO or Chimera, then why wait until now? Aya Neo drops new hardware like every other week, so if they're waiting till now, is it because of driver support? Honestly, who knows? One thing's for sure. If this is officially supported by Valve, then the floodgates are about to open. We're going to start seeing SteamOS on more devices, and perhaps even installable on your own PC by the end of the year, just like I predicted. Just, without the trackpads. And if you want to know why I think the trackpads are so awesome on the Steam Deck, then check out this video right here. Anyway, from the NerdNest, I'm Bill. Stay rad, everyone.